The last month or two have been almost physically painful, growing pains. Don't get me wrong, there have been some awesome moments. We completed another small acquisition and have hired 4 new people since the last update. We've now sold internationally and have seriously considered reaching even farther on a potential custom project overseas. We've got some awesome commitments on projects that I probably shouldn't announce quite yet, but will very soon. All this is extremely exciting, but it's tough to know how much to push when we're still getting tripped up on what should be simple, routine things at this point. Things we've done hundreds of times before. The little mistakes that get sprinkled throughout our process can be frustrating to nearly everyone, including a couple of our clients, and that is not okay. Roles have shifted once again. Every time we bring someone new to the team, nearly everyone else's job changes in some way. This adjustment disrupts flow and slows us down. We've done that 4 times in the last couple months. Changing job responsibilities eats at people in ways I'm not sure I fully understand. In our small business, we've grown by letting everyone wear multiple hats, even if not all hats were a good fit. We just needed someone to get it done. But as we grow the team, we end up taking away work that was once someone's responsibility and now is not. For some, it feels liberating. It allows them to focus on what they do well, even better than they could before. Task-relevant maturity starts building faster overnight, and personal growth continues at an impressive pace. For others, it just feels hurtful. It's not viewed as an opportunity to focus and grow on the things that are a good fit. It just feels like a loss. The duality in this reaction is hard to manage. I can see both sides, but I can confidently say that those who've embraced the narrower focus are outperforming those struggling with loss aversion by an order of magnitude. That's hard to communicate, and is also an extremely hard attitude change to encourage. I work hard to be a positive person, but there are limits to my positivity. Given the workload, changing roles, and number of preventable mistakes that are caused by the combination of these 2 factors, emotions are high. That's not us. That confuses and frustrates me. When I step back, mostly I think the frustration has been my inability to define systems that work flawlessly and uniformly across the extreme variety of projects we have going on at all times. The variety of our work keeps life interesting, but I am starting to get quite annoyed when any system that works well is ignored or broken. We just end up making things harder than they need to be. I want things to get easier. So, how do we better preserve and surface institutional knowledge at the appropriate time without burying ourselves in irrelevant detail? How do we provide comprehensive instruction for those that have never used a process of ours before, and at the same time provide a helpful reminder for the person that invented the process to make sure that they stick with it and don't forget the answers we already invested in working through? That's a tough information handling challenge, especially for something that we may only do a few times per year and that likely has hundreds of steps, growing pains. I think I know what I need to do next. A few years ago, I was fortunate enough to have dinner with a man who once owned the largest web design firm in the country. He gave me advice for the next stage of my business that, at the time, I wasn't quite ready to hear, but as I reflect on that conversation today, I'm certain we're at the point he was describing. His advice seems solid, and it also makes me a little tired to think about implementing it. I'll share more specifics in the next month as the picture continues to crystallize in my brain. It's not easy. I've started implementing the pieces I can clearly see, but it will be a long project to be sure, and not without further growing pains for all of us. Despite, or maybe because of the pain of the last couple months, I am extremely motivated to fix our problems and get us back on track for the next growth spurt. Internally, I've described our current trajectory as an upward spiral. It's hard to picture and certainly looks different to everyone depending on your vantage point. To all, it looks like a fast-paced and often chaotic process. To some, it may appear more like a tornado. It'd be difficult to tell whether the awesome, beautiful, terrifying, yet focused phenomenon is damaging or destructive, deadly. From my vantage point, it's nuanced, it's confusing, a swirling, mixing, morphing force that isn't all good or bad and isn't totally within our control, yet can still be guided. I mean, it's definitely moving and building and growing, but to me and hopefully to others, you can start to see it slowly, very slowly, revealing a new, bold form. Something that didn't exist before, but's here now and is here to stay. It's a mark. It's a mark we started making 15 years ago and continue making every single day. With intention and insight and foresight, craftsmanship and care and compassion. I can't see the full picture yet, and perhaps never will, but I can say with certainty that I'm excited to see beyond the brief glimpses I've caught through the clouds. The mark is building up, and it's going to be beautiful. Can you see it yet?